Hey everybody, this is Brian Keitlinger with Left in the Field Outdoors, and today I'm doing a little bit of tuning on my new Athens Altitude that I just got. I just took it to Dave's Archery up in Northeast PA, had him put the rest on, and we paper tuned it. Now I'm going to do some walk back tuning on the bow and explain a little bit about how we set that up and get it to where it's going to be shooting its best. No matter what, if you're shooting field points or broadhead. So let's take a look at the process that we're going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about my setup. The Altitude is a new bow with Athens, and it is 33 inches axle to axle. It's 5 5/8 inch brace height, and you can get it in all different sizes. I got mine in 60 pounds, 28 inch draw, and on it I have an HHA Kingpin, a Quad HDX, and then I'm running the dead center stabilizers on it. The bow comes with limb dampeners and all the other accessories you have. So this is my setup for this year, and now we'll talk a little bit about walk back tuning. Alright, with walk back tuning it's pretty simple. You don't need a whole lot of space to do this stuff. I do it in my basement. I got 22 yards in my basement, but you really only need up to 10 yards to do this and a safe place to shoot. So let's talk to you a little bit about the process of how this works. Alright, one of the first things you want to do is, a lot of people do it a few different ways. Some people take and they'll hang a string on a weight down through the center of the target. This particular hips target has a side on the target in which you can do your tuning vertically and horizontally. So this is what I like to use. It also gives you an aiming point for that. So the first thing you would do is you would back up to 3 yards, which is 9 feet. And you can see we have a tape measure helps here. And you would come back to 9 feet. See, this is all the further you are. And you would simply draw back and aim at your aiming point. And if the arrow hits right, obviously you're going to bump your sight right. If the arrow hits left, you're going to bump your sight left. And you're going to do this a few times so you are hitting, okay, your aiming point, and you're straight up and down. After you've shot your closer distance of 3 yards, you're going to come back to 10 yards, which is 30 feet, and you're going to repeat the same process. You're going to aim at your aiming point, and some people will shoot 3 arrows. I usually do 1. Aim at my aiming point. If my arrow hits left, okay, I'll get it. I'll shoot again. If it hits left again, I will then bump my rest just a tiny bit to the right. And so it's the same process. When you get back to 10 yards, you're now going to adjust your rest opposite of what you're hitting. So if you're hitting right, you're going to bump a little bit left. If you're hitting left, you're going to bump a little bit right. And you're going to be able to get that arrow back into the center by moving it opposite direction where the arrow is hitting. So here's your 30 feet distance, which would be 10 yards. And again, you can see it's not very far. You can see your aiming point, and you can see right away whether you're hitting right or left, and how you need to counteract and adjust that rest as you go. So that would be the next step. Once you have it hitting that line that's straight up and down, you can go to the next step. So after you've adjusted your rest a little bit left or right, or however you need to do this, the next step is to go back to 3 yards. You go back to 9 feet, and you shoot at your aiming point again, and you look to see if your arrow's hitting right or left. If it's hitting a little bit right or left, you simply go back to adjusting your sight a little bit right or left, chasing the arrow, and that'll bring everything in. Then we do the last step, which is I go back to 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, and I'll shoot to make sure everything is in. So once you've done all of the steps, shooting at 3 yards, adjusting your pin, going back to 10 yards, adjusting your rest, going back to 3 yards, adjusting your pins, you can go back to 20 yards and 30 and 40, and you can make micro adjustments as you go using the same process. For me, I will tweak it a little bit here and there every time I shoot until I feel comfortable that everything is going the way it needs to go and that I feel the bow is shooting the best that it can be. So I'll finish up and put some shots on here real quick and run a picture, and I'll also put a copy of walkback tuning, a picture of walkback tuning on here as well. This is Brian Keitlinger tuning in my Athens Altitude. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope this helps you out. Best of luck, and go out and sight your bow in.